welcome to another edition of Health Matters. Because your health matters, we are committed to bringing you quality programming under a variety of topics to bring you information, and that information becomes very powerful when, glad you asked, you act on it. Hi everyone, my name is Anna Marie Sinatra from Sinatra Solutions, your executive coach, consultant, and trainer, and your host, actually your only host today of Health Matters. Ava San Marco from Health Focus couldn't be here with us today, but we're keeping her in our thoughts and our prayers. I'm so excited today because I have sitting next to me, as you can see, Andrea Todaro from Innovative Placements. So make sure you get those pens and papers ready because she's going to give you some amazing information, not just if you're looking for a job or if you're an employer, you're going to want to watch. If you have a business, you're going to want to watch. And if maybe you have a handicap of some sort, Andrea is going to talk to you about how she can help you with that too. But before we get started, you know I always like to thank our sponsors who help to keep the program on the air. I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Frank Mascaro from Western New York Imaging Group, where they are committed to bringing us quality, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge diagnostic imaging equipment. And when you're in your time of need, we're going to be glad that they're there for us with the best equipment possible to help to get at the bottom of the problem. And we want to give a big shout out to Matthew Sauer, that cute little Matty mattress who sometimes I say looks like SpongeBob, but he is a mattress from Mattress and More, where he is educating us on the benefits of getting a good night's sleep, how important that is, and even more important, what are you sleeping on for 8 hours? Is it a natural mattress? Is it an old mattress? A lot of information that he shares with us to help to educate you. And we also always want to thank so much Joe DeMarco from Wings Flights of Hope, where he offers free medical flights to people in their time of need. So you want to make sure that you get on that website and fill out that form, because unfortunately someday we may need his services, and he has a whole slew of volunteer pilots that are on call waiting for you to call. And it's not just medical flights, remember, it's compassion flights. Find out what that means by visiting the website. So before we get started again now, I want to give you your healthy thinking tip. I know you always enjoy that very much. I enjoy getting your emails and hearing all of your comments and some of your questions too to understand these great tools. We're going to talk again today, because it's one of Andrea's favorites, is the Franklin Covey, the old lady, young lady. You know, you look at that picture and some people will see an old lady, some people will see a young lady, some people don't see either, some people see both. So what does that mean to you? That means that you have to really check out your thinking, how you're perceiving. What happens when you see someone who looks different than you look? Someone who talks different than you talk, someone who is just different than the way you are. You know what? I say that's a great celebration of life. But you know, if we don't notice how we're thinking and how we're perceiving that old lady, young lady that you're looking at right now, we can't challenge ourselves, and sometimes we make judgments and assessments based on what we're seeing, how we're seeing, when there are several other ways to look at a situation. Yes. So, without any further ado, don't forget to email me about that, because I know those emails are going to come in as it gets a little confusing sometimes. You know, you spit out these great little tips, and I know sometimes they're a little confusing, but a little bit of coaching around it could help you to see things differently. Andrea, you are an amazing woman, and I am so excited that you are here today. Andrea Todaro, President of Innovative Placements. I'm going to fluff your feathers for you a little bit if I can.
I love being touched by you. We do that inimitably well with each other, I'll tell you, Anna Marie. Definitely a mutual admiration club going on here.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad. I've been so excited. I've been wanting you to come on the program for a long time. You're doing amazing things, just reading about your company and about about all that you've done. You have received a whole slew of awards yourself after reading your bio, and I know that oh my goodness, there's so much in here that you do with your business and case management, job development, coaching, consumer assessment, job analysis, regulatory compliance, agency linkage and referral, customer advocacy.
That's my $1 million word. I thought you were going to say avocado.
Do we have any avocados? I love avocados. See that?
We didn't even plan that one.
There is so much that you do, and I love that you're working with people with disabilities, refugees, veterans, the welfare to work, and at-risk youth. And you are just doing so much. We're just going to dive right in, but first let me ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, Anna Marie, I certainly don't mind a question like that. You know, it's funny, I was thinking it was going to be a lose your breath, lose your turn kind of experience with both of us today because we both definitely just enjoy each other's company immensely, and I've known you for a number of years.
Yes.
So just to pay homage, thank you so much for letting me be on the show today. I'm just overjoyed at the opportunity. Well, just to get into my background, I don't know if you know that I also have another foray. I'm an opera singer as well. I'm not going to do any on-the-spot opera notes for you today.
We would have to let our sound man know.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to lower that mic
definitely.
because you've got a beautiful voice.
Thank you. So that's kind of an alter ego of mine, and I absolutely love to kind of key into the passions of other people in terms of helping them to develop their potential, realize their potential. So I really try to do that in a number of ways. Really, my mission is to help energize people, get them back into the workforce, feeling wonderfully, and look at their abilities versus their disabilities. We really try to emphasize the varying abilities that people have. So if I can use opera as a medium for healing other people and helping them and inspiring, I'll use that as a medium. But my primary thrust is working as the president, as you know, of Innovative Placements, and I've been doing that since 2001. Happily, we're just celebrating our anniversary actually tomorrow, our 11-year anniversary. And so, you know, it's really my passion to call out people's potential and to look at, you know, exactly where their niche is, try to get them reinvigorated to get back into the workforce with instilled confidence through interview coaching and through a variety of career assessment tools that we use. So we do some assessment testing, then we also do interview coaching, resume development, cover letter development, really looking at integrating the entire individual.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really it in a nutshell. And
you know, when you're saying that, I'm thinking about sometimes the challenges that when I'm coaching with people, whether it's for they're starting a new career or getting over something in their lives, that just that alone is so challenging to change our mindset.
Absolutely.
How we're looking at things. And people are, some people are dealing with a physical disability as well.
You know, it's funny you say that. There's really a psychological term for it called functional fixedness. And I learned about that back in cognitive psychology class when I graduated from Fredonia back in 1995. I still remember that term. It's really about shifting our paradigm. And very often I find that people come to me and they have worked in one profession historically for 25, 30 years, maybe in a production role, and they've suffered or sustained a workplace injury or an injury outside of work, and then have had to go on workman's comp or be out of the workforce for a period of time, and that's pretty daunting. You know, they've really lost in confidence, and they're re-entering into a new profession and work they can perform, such as medical billing or office types of work or phlebotomy. You know, there are a number of different professions they can enter into, and it's a little bit sobering, you know, to come back into the workforce, even though you have new training and new skills. Sometimes you're not quite sure about this new animal of the employment search, which can be a daunting process. You know, they're not sure if, you know, usually a handshake went a very long way, you know, just a gentleman's handshake or women's handshake, where, you know, the person would be granted a job on their merits, you know, come in, you know, do an interview, and if they liked the person, they'd be hired on the spot, you know, back in 2002 or so. Well, it's certainly not 2002, you know, it's a totally different animal and totally different realm. So we try to re-educate them on the new job market and try to give them the tools to be highly successful, highly confident, and we do that in a number of ways, and I can't wait to get to those, but
Wow,
certainly
yes,
I know
yes,
you have some
yes.
questions.
Well,
probably.
I do, because one of the things I want to make sure that people know as you're watching now, if you're an employer and you're thinking, well, this show isn't for me, yes it is, because you service companies, businesses, non-for-profits, anyone can come to you. And by the way, we should say too, all these services are free of charge to the employee and the employer, so that we want to make sure everybody stays tuned in and getting those pens and papers and writing this information down.
That was one of the best points to be made. We also work on the employer end, not just on the job seeker end and helping to prepare job seekers for re-entering the workforce or sometimes entering the workforce for the first time. But we also work with the employers, and we provide various hiring incentives to those employers, whether it be increasing morale just through a wonderful untapped pool of job candidates. You know, as you know, people with varying abilities or disabilities often have an incredibly indomitable work ethic and a lot of tenacity.
That's right.
And it's, you know, there are proven stats that have shown that those people are typically able to be there on time, be highly reliable, increase staff morale, increase sensitivity awareness within the workplace. And that's one thing that we seek to do with area employers, as we will often come into the employer's staffing environment, work culture, and do sensitivity awareness training classes.
Wow.
So we love to do that. We love to, you know, educate them on disabilities awareness etiquette. You know, how do you greet a person with a disability? You know, if say they're in a wheelchair and they're trying to enter into the room, do you get the door for them? If they only have one arm, you know, then how do you shake their hand? So we kind of go into the nuances of that and what to anticipate and expect, and also special accommodations for those individuals. What's out there in terms of adaptive equipment?
You know, and when you're saying that, again, I'm thinking of some of the people that I work with. When people have to overcome a great tragedy in their lives, or, you know, something horrendous occurs, whatever it is, it's those struggles that help to make us stronger and help us to have compassion. All those things that happen for us really do happen for good if we allow them to, depending on how we look at it. Are you seeing it as the old lady, young lady? Meaning, let's help them decipher that. I love that.
Full.
Oh my goodness! I was
take it out of your mouth.
We do this to each other all the time. I would say whether is a cup half empty or half full.
Yes.
Or the other one, do you love the rose for its beauty or do you hate it for its thorns?
Absolutely.
What are you looking at? What are you focusing on?
You always have to focus on your attributes and your strengths and build upon those. And in fact, there is a test, an aptitude test or assessment test called StrengthsFinder out there, where you identify. I'm sure you're familiar with that one, just like the DISC and some of the other ones that are out there. But definitely identifying your top 5 strengths out of 34 potential strengths and really capitalizing on those, because we all have them. And what you've done when you weren't working is also very, very important. Have you raised a family and been a domestic engineer? Have you retrained in a new profession? Have you done internships and volunteered for different organizations and companies? So many different things to tie into the picture and how you evolved and how you've become a bigger and stronger person, often because of your disability, because you have more sensitivity and more compassion too, more empathy. And tying into what you said about tragedy turned into triumph. I have an amazing, captivating success story. Do we have time for that? Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I have a gentleman who I've been working with for the last, how many years? God, I think since 2004, so he came here on a visa in 2001. His name is Abu Musa, and you've probably seen him at the Elmhurst Street location. Yes,
and I read
of
it.
Wegmans.
Isn't he on your
He is.
Your
recently
website?
we did that wonderful success story video on him. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, and I have to say I'm so grateful, because Abu has served as a mentor for me, as you heard from that video. He has really been an incredible mentor and a force of nature. Well, he was forced out of his home in Liberia in the Liberian Civil War back in 2001, and unfortunately he was traveling through the jungle in a big tanker or truck, and a drum in the back of the truck fell in his arm, and he survived without medical attention to the heart of the jungle because his arm was severed. He was considered a medical miracle. I mean, they did not anticipate that he would have survived for 5 days in the heart of the jungle without his arm. And he applied for Access VR's services back in 2005 and was referred to me for services. And we pounded the pavement, so to speak, you know, and all the elements went out and looked into various placements for him. Well, he was the most ultra-prepared person I've ever encountered. When he came to our meetings, he had a full 3-piece suit on, briefcase, had his resume prepared, and he didn't have his, well, he had his associate's degree in his country, but that wasn't transferable. So anyway, needless to say, he secured a job at Wegmans back in 2006 and has not looked back. He has won numerous awards there for the best customer service rep, employee of the month, numerous customer accolades and recommendations, and he has also gotten his associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. Now he's working on his doctorate, and he's a father, I should say. He also lost his wife in the Liberian Civil War. He had to raise 4 teenagers on his own. He was in his mid-50s when he came over here, and to get all of his degrees and also be able to raise a family and work full-time at Wegmans, and he's up for some management opportunities there, which is just amazing. Is like just
if that's not encouraging to people watching today, you know, so many people write in and say that they're depressed or they're sad, they're lonely, whatever your situation is. You know, I'm a broken record on this one. Is you get out of your own self and you help somebody else, or you reach out for some tools. You have to have tools in your life, and Andrea is one of the best tools to give her a call and to find out how, if anything. I'm sure you probably do what I do too, is if you can't help someone directly, you can guide them to an agency or to a person that can help them.
Absolutely. Well, Abu uses the 3 Ds, decisive, determined, and dedicated, in his march in life. He is so triumphant. He comes in and actually helps us with our workshops. We do health and wealth workshops because we really like to look at the entire person when we're working with them. We make sure that we're looking at every dimension of that person, and really help to not only just offer them a job or help them find employment, but we're really looking at cultivating that person, cultivating healthy awareness, you know, awareness of how to eat organically, or look at a healthier lifestyle of diet and exercise. So we're looking at every dimension, and we do different types of body movement classes to get them in touch with their intuition and moving again, you know, and just being active.
I should have known you have fun things
we
to
have
do
fun
too.
things to do as well.
Not just sit down. Do you use a PowerPoint ever?
We do, but
do
I
you?
feel that it
I never use a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, a couple of my instructors have, because I do have employers that come in, and if employers out there would like to do a presentation on their work culture and on their hiring standards and on how to find a job and what their work culture is like, how to apply, we would love to have you. Absolutely welcome you with open arms. We have had Joel Furman, Human Resource Manager of Home Depot, come in and do a presentation. David Scott, the Director of Diversity and Inclusion from Roswell Park, do a presentation that was out of this world, and a number of other employers come in. So yeah, we try to steer clear of PowerPoints. To be completely honest, I was being a little bit politically correct because I know some people really
like their PowerPoints.
I feel that it creates a little bit of a barrier. It's a little bit too staid, you know. I like, you know, you and I
had
are
that
more
feeling. We've never
way.
talked about that, but I never use a PowerPoint. I come in with comic strips, and people look at me and go, "What?" I go, "Trust me, money back guarantee. If you don't like this, you can take your thoughts with you and go back home with them."
And I'm sure they've never gotten their money back, because I can imagine you are definitely worth every bit of your weight in gold. I will tell you, I've seen the work you do, and it's really, really amazing.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to collaborate further.
I know. This is just the beginning.
Absolutely.
And speaking of collaborating, I know that you are putting on career fairs. Many years ago, I remember you doing one. I think that was when we were first learning about each other.
Absolutely.
And there was an invitation that came out to come and help, and I thought, yeah, you know, I want to know this woman more. She's so, just your eyes now sparkle when you talk about all that you're doing too. Your passion just comes right through. And when I went to, I think it was in Niagara Falls, that career, I was like, I thought it was gonna be this like little career fair, you know, and it was like just rows and rows, and I want to say hundreds, I don't know if it was hundreds, but it felt like hundreds of vendors and thousands of people. It was absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Well, we did, first of all, an awards luncheon honoring employers for their significant contributions in the region. We also, following that, did a career fair resource expo. So we had massage therapists, we had a health and wellness component, we were giving prizes away, gift baskets. I wanted to really have a celebratory element to the experience because I really feel like the Falls, you know, has had a little bit of an Achilles heel for a while and it's just coming back into full form.
Yes.
And so, I mean, there is a bit of a renaissance occurring there with different developments. However, at that time, that was back in 2010 when we were really in the heart of the recession. So I really wanted to cultivate a sense of heroicism and excitement about the entrepreneurial spirit that occurs in the Falls in different areas and pockets. So we gave some great awards away to employers for all of their efforts. We had the Annie Edison Taylor Award, you know, so we named them after historical figures. And we tried to have a historical element to the event. We also had art displayed of the Falls and the history of the Falls, which was really cool. And then
tied in the culture and the history. So smart, so smart.
Yes, thank you. And we finally we followed it up with a social hour. We had 1,800 job seekers for that event and 100 employers and resources.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a
and
fun
you're
time.
doing some here in Buffalo, I know. And,
yes.
and when people are listening to this interview too, you know, you Google my name, Google Andrea's name, Google innovative placements. You will find a beautiful website, and not only just to read, but little videos come up and on Facebook. And are you on Twitter too?
I am.
On Twitter too. So you Google her, Twitter too, like one of our famous tweet. You know who says that all the time on her show.
Exactly.
I try not to mention the person I always kind of watch those, you know, the professional talk show hosts.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, you definitely are inimitable in your presentation and your passion. You know, we're going to be doing a career fair actually at the Buffalo Downtown Public Library come April, so we're really excited about that. And we just finished up with a career fair there at a nice continental breakfast for employers. We had 40 employers or so there. We could only fit 40 within the facility, so we were at maximum capacity, and we had hundreds of job seekers attend the event, and it was a fantastic turnout, fantastic time, and people had reported back through positive evaluations that they had gotten really great quality candidates from the experience, and yes, people got jobs. That's what we're all about.
Yes. And you know what I love too? Let me go here. When you talk about people got jobs, it reminded me of what you said, where's that piece where you talk about what your goals are and your mission?
Yes.
I loved when you said you're building